Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Intellectual Podcast. I'm your host, David Dawson. This is episode number 177 with the Indie Film Project. This is a trio of incredibly energetic and talented guys who have spent the better part of the last year or so putting together a new web series called For the Win. It's about gamers, so all of you fans of video games are probably going to relate to this web series very strongly, and we know there's a bunch of you out there, right? Am I right, fellas? And the ladies. Because let's face it, this is a world where we're all equal in our love of nerddom. So we had a great chat. Whitney and I had a blast talking to these guys. Again, their enthusiasm for their project, their energy for filmmaking is infectious. It was a lot of fun to talk to them. And so without delaying too much further, just to fill time, why don't we just get right into it? This is Chris, Robert, and Markus of the Indie Film Project on the 177th episode of the Intellectual Podcast.
Talk hard and enjoy the mindgasm. The Intellectual Podcast starts now.
Say that again?
I slit the sheet I slit, upon the slitted sheet I sit.
Good Lord.
Way too many opportunities.
Yeah, those are too much.
Oh, that's why they're
this sign.
That's why they're hysterical. I always use those for like my students, and they cracked up.
Okay, little podcast etiquette, because we're having to handhold everything, and there's 5 mics. It's a lot of mic noise. So grip those mics and don't play with them, and try not to pound them on your leg or anything.
Okay,
Totally
I'm using it.
spazzy, so it's gonna be...
I'm using this as an armrest. I'm using the armrest as an armrest. I have a lot of insight, you guys. Do you have any questions?
If you're confused,
I don't trust you guys.
Where am I? Who am I? I'm scared. You hold me.
I have
Okay.
this thing, like I literally like move all the time, and now that he mentioned it, it's gonna be on my mind the whole time. I'm just gonna be like,
you're welcome.
He has full body Tourette's.
Full body Tourette's.
So why don't we just do the roll call? So your Indie Film Project.
We
Okay.
are Indie Film Project.
And us.
And
3 co-owners. So I'm Chris Pegut.
I'm Robert Anderson.
and I'm Markus Anderson, the eldest brother.
okay.
Well, these two are brothers. I'm a brother from another mother.
That's true.
Well, that's good. And
And a different father, too. Whole different families.
Brothers nonetheless.
Yes.
brothers in film.
Yes.
It's true.
That's
This
it.
is
That's
true.
the answer.
Although our esteemed former guest Bob Gardner would argue that none of us are shooting film, and we need to stop using that term.
Ah, yes.
Makes sense.
Brothers in DSLR.
There you go.
It's a little wordier.
It's a wordy.
It doesn't roll off the tongue.
No, it's not. It's not quite as friendly. I'm Dave Dawson,
I'm Whitney Wegman.
and so you guys reached out and wanted to come and chat about a web series you guys are putting together.
That's correct.
You want to just kind of start there, and we'll see where we go.
Yeah.
Sure.
What's the name of the series, and what's it about?
This show's called For the Win series, and it's about 2 brothers, basically. One who's in corporate America
That's me.
and has his life together, played by him.
That was Chris, by the way.
I'm sorry. Me is
Chris.
Chris. I play Andrew.
And then the younger brother, Sean, played by me, Robert. And it's basically he's trying to just become a pro gamer and doesn't want to get a job, and his older brother's trying to get him to stop being a nonsense child. But basically everything starts to fall apart for both of them. And well, it's comedy.
You're gonna have to tune in to
You have
find
to tune out. I
out.
don't want spoilers or something, but that's the concept of the whole thing.
And what motivated you guys to do a web series as opposed to, say, a short film or a feature film?
So originally we got the idea sort of based off Silicon Valley, that kind of show. And Robert was watching the esports. They do this big competitive kind of the finale. It's kind of like the Super Bowl of video games, and they like sell out the Staples Center, and all these nerds go in
MSG,
there
anything.
and they watch people in the center play video games. And it's huge. It's streamed all around the world. About 40 million people tune into it. And I used to play video games. I play them somewhat, but not that intensely. And so I just kind of like walked in, and he was watching this thing on TV, and I was like, what in the world? This is out of control. So we were like, well, we should make something about this. That'd be fun. And we originally had wrote a pilot episode, 30-minute pilot, and we started kind of budgeting it and putting it together. And then we were like, well, this is going to be too much to do. So instead, we decided to go web series route. But in turn, we actually made more work for us to do because now we're doing 10 episodes, which is longer than the 30-minute pilot. But it's kind of, shorter episodes, and we'll put them up on the internet, and hopefully people will enjoy what we're making.
So the transition of going from a half hour to deciding you're going to do the web series, and it naturally kind of becoming something even longer. Mm-hmm. Like, what was that conversation like amongst yourselves?
I think in the beginning, there was an interim phase there too, where we had the pilot and still figuring the budget out. We started doing Instagram videos, and those were 1 or 2 minutes long.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just short,
very short, just kind of like teasers almost for the show, introduce the characters and some of the storylines, and that whatever it was, we took the pilot and we decided that storyline. Once we have the funds to do that, means we still want to do that. So we just took a step back and we kind of made this a couple years in the past before that pilot starts. And then kind of like Wild West with web series. I mean, there's a ton of them out there, but we didn't know, should we do 3-minute episodes or 10, 30-minute episode, whatever it is. But we settled on 10 episodes. They were about 10 minutes each. So we basically shot a feature-length film worth of... instead of a 30-minute budgeted thing, we just started on social media, and with everybody's help, it was easier to make a bigger project out of it, just because the community here in San Diego is insane. We didn't realize that we've been living in a vacuum for the last year, getting everything together before we, pre-production was about 6 or 7 months. And then when we started putting feelers out there, San Diego Actors Group and all the different Facebook groups to find the cast and crew, it just seemed like a natural progression for us, and it was, I don't want to say it was easy. I mean, it's been a lot of hard work, but we've had so much help too.
Yeah.
So it was just kind of naturally, organically just happened. We didn't have a plan. I'm not sure we still have a plan, but that's what it turned into.
So you mentioned the Facebook groups and things like that. How did you come upon those resources?
I guess just our networking. I've worked with the Film Consortium on a few events of theirs and some of their mixers.
That group... I think we met Rob.
Oh, meetups. We've done. We the three of us met at a meetup. Mm-hmm. One of those things where they were going to shoot a short film over the weekend, sort of like a 72-hour thing. And the organizer kind of had an office space downtown, and we shot something. And then the three of us went out and we got crepes, like gentlemen do, and we had a conversation about our lives. And decided,
so what gentlemen do.
That's right.
I've been doing it all wrong.
That's right.
That's right.
Oh,
it's great. They make best friends.
Answer.
Yeah, and then we've basically spent every waking minute together since then. Yeah. I promised myself I wouldn't do this.
We're like a polyamorous couple.
That's right.
3 of us.
So how long ago was it that you guys met each other at one of these meetups?
It was February. Oh, wow. It was the end of February last year.
Of 2015?
Of 2015, thank you. I'm trying to do the math.
So you're coming up on 2 years running
pretty
together.
Close.
Yeah. Correct.
Close to 2 years, yeah.
Facebook will tell us at some point. It'll say, you met him, blah, blah, blah.
That's right.
With that fun little video and the
Yeah.
weird things that slap a high five.
With some random person's hands. Like, who are those hands? Whose hands are those?
Who's spinning records about me? Those videos are weird.
They are really. Why is it a record? That's why is it vinyl?
Yeah.
Because vinyl's trendy right now.
Yeah, it's
all,
trendy.
all the millennials are into vinyl,
That's
don't
true.
you know?
It should be a treasure trove of memories, but you dig through like a beard, and then you get through it and you're just like, oh, remember that?
There's that first crepe.
Oh,
In the beard, yeah.
saving it for later.
That's right.
So,
Weddings.
individually, what are your backgrounds in film, and how did you guys come to find that you complement each other?
So Robert and I are brothers, and we grew up in Idaho on a farm, and basically we
Part of Idaho.
Near Boise, in a little town called Kuna.
Okay, I was born in Pocatello.
Oh,
See,
okay,
yeah.
another.
Idaho.
More
Nice.
Idaho people around here.
Randy Davison's from Idaho.
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
Who appears in our web series, episode 7.
Well, there you go.
Yeah. I reached out to him specifically saying, "Hey, I'm from Idaho. You're from Idaho. Let's meet up." And he said, "Cool."
Keith Foster on Tonight in San Diego is also from Idaho.
Wow, look at this.
A lot of Idaho
So he's been
people.
finding, Chris is from Jersey, and he's been finding a lot of Jersey people, and now we're finally finding all of our Idaho peeps.
Yeah.
Which is
Steve Schwartz, one of the other co-hosts of the podcast, also from New Jersey.
There we go.
Very nice.
They're all
What
transplants.
exit? But
That's exactly what he says every time somebody says I'm from Jersey. He goes, what exit?
That's great. But Robert and I, basically, we grew up and we just kind of made videos all the time when we were kids because we thought it was fun. We just blew up stuff with fireworks and filmed it, little army men, and edited together.
Angry Rob.
Yeah, there's this video where Robert played a character called Angry Rob, and he would eat ribs and angrily. It's on YouTube.
Random things.
It's random stuff like that, just a bunch of random things, and we used to do that.
And you didn't get picked up from that? That didn't make you famous?
I don't know why. I don't know why.
Weird.
Because people don't like ribs.
Fickle internet.
There's too many vegans out there these days.
The vegans ruined us.
In Idaho, surely.
Well, we're big in Idaho. It's just Idaho.
It's the 20 people in Idaho. So.
Yeah.
They like us.
And then after high school, I moved to Riverside because one of my friends, his mom was a producer. She did like People's Court and stuff, and I worked with her for a while. And then I kind of had a big falling out with them because I'm.
You had a falling out with Wapner?
We did, yeah. Some people, and yeah. And then I moved from there to down here because I had some family here in San Diego. Took a break for about a year of not doing anything film related, and then I kind of got the itch again.
He was waiting for me.
Yeah, told Robert, move down here, let's make stuff. He moved here, and now that's what we're doing.
Well, that makes sense. I mean, my co-producers, my sisters, and my brother-in-law, and
See?
I can't do this stuff without them. So.
I
get it.
It's kind of
Makes
like,
it
yeah,
easier.
you kind of, it's like an extra motivator, when you're by yourself. You're
Well,
like,
and nobody can call you on your bullshit better than your family.
it's
too.
very true.
Because even if they get offended, they can't leave.
Yeah, like, you're still my brother.
So it worked out.
So I kind of told Robert's history. He doesn't get to talk now.
Yeah, I moved here from a farm. Yeah, working on a farm for a senator, and then I got bored of it because it was no good pay. I was like, I'm going to go make films, so then I moved here.
Actually, you also, didn't you transport hay, and aren't you insanely allergic to said hay?
Yeah, that was another reason.
Makes a lot of
If
sense.
hay touches my skin, I break out in hives, and I had to stack hay for people.
Seems
By
like
the
a hostile work
It was
environment.
very hostile, so I was like, I need to get
So
out
a
of this.
senator had a farm, and you worked on the senator's farm.
Yep,
Okay,
very random.
That's a country song.
that is very random.
So I worked for
That
a
sounds like
senator,
a country song.
but not in the way people think when I say that.
What do
Oh,
people
there was
think
no
when you say
suit and
that?
tie.
They're like, oh, you're in Washington, like you're an assistant? I'm like, no, I stacked hay.
No, I shoveled shit for him.
And I ate some. It was great.
Real nice guy.
What about you, Chris? What was your Jersey experience like?
Oh, let's see. I did.
And were you
go-
coastal or are you more inland? Or
Right now, by the other ocean, yeah, just 10 miles away. But just like here, I make it to the beach like once or twice a year because I'm Irish and Polish, so I'm like a fork in the microwave. But yeah, so I went to college forever. Had a lot of different degrees. I've always wanted to be an actor. Always wanted to be in entertainment. And the closest thing I had to anything like this,
Well, that's dumb, right?
It was dumb. That's dumb. And I had I don't even remember what college it was. One of the colleges gave me a degree in television production and post-production work. And I remember very clearly that was like 2001. Chad, his name was Chad Anderson, as a matter of fact.
It's my cousin.
He was one of the teacher's assistants, and he said, look, if you want to be an actor, don't work behind the camera. That's not how it works. And that was probably fine 15 years ago, but luckily today,
yeah, it's wildly different today.
yeah, now we're our own production company, and I just kept putting myself in front of the camera until it stuck. But I had that degree, and so I used that degree, of course. I went and I got a job as a park ranger. Makes sense, right? If you want to be an actor, you got to go through the proper channel. So I was a park ranger.
Hold on, where were you a park ranger?
Back in Jersey again. We have parks. It's the Garden
That's how I was
State.
wondering. I was like, wait,
Yeah,
what?
it's true. It's
Well,
true.
I wanted to know if it was like somewhere really interesting.
Absolutely not.
Okay.
Like I said, I'm from New Jersey.
It's New Jersey.
And then
Jersey's lovely. I don't know why everybody gets Jersey.
It's true, right? I think I just take on some of that,
He's just such a terrible person. I would imagine.
just
I'm like,
imagine
what is the
terrible.
place like that
Agreed.
he was born and raised
Agreed.
in?
They're all
so.
like me. And it doesn't help that everyone we meet from Jersey has that kind of,
Chip on their shoulder.
so just, but it's good. It's a fraternity.
Laura Boleyn's also from Jersey.
Everybody's from New Jersey, I think. You guys are not from New Jersey?
No, I'm from Missouri.
From
St.
Missouri,
Louis.
huh?
Although I just spent some time there recently.
Oh. And don't they say Missouri? Is that okay?
Both are acceptable.
Oh, is that right? Okay.
Yes.
Missouri.
I've heard that once. And
Missouri.
Missouri. Natives. Well, hey, so the park ranger thing was a very short stint, and then of course I went into corporate America for pharmaceutical marketing for about a decade. Did a dime in corporate America, and
how much of your soul remains?
Well, now I'm a year outside of it, so I feel like reborn. Yeah, but it absolutely
can a soul regenerate?
Yeah,
it's proof.
I'm an X-Man.
I don't know.
Yeah.
The science
awful.
isn't quite there yet on the soul. They need a carbon collide, particle collider.
Hey, her husband could help.
There you go.
Exactly.
There you go.
Amazing. See, so that's it. Yeah, basically, after I left that job, it's been a year now, and we've been hitting this thing hard for the win. So I'm a convert now. I'll never go back to shirt and tie isms.
There seems to be a point. We've heard it with a lot of guests over the years. You hit a point where you're just like, yeah, I'd rather slit my wrists and go back to a cubicle.
Oh, in all honesty, one of the guys that plays our uncle on the show, he had a very similar experience, and his thing, he stole it from, I guess, Rhode Island. Live free or die. Give me freedom or give me death. Just no more of that other world.
Yeah.
Just can't. I just picked up I'm a dasher now as of today, a door dasher. You might see me in a red shirt delivering food. So my first job outside of corporate America is a delivery boy, which is every 36-year-old's dream.
I drove for Uber and Lyft for like a year and a half just to make ends meet. And I'll be parking cars at the sports complex here in Oceanside this weekend.
Signing autographs.
All of that is much better than standing or sitting in a stupid cubicle office from 9 to 5, 40, 60 hours a week.
I couldn't imagine.
No, and you shouldn't ever.
So, Chris,
as long as there's no hay involved, you're good.
Yeah.
I'd rather go back to the hay. It sounds better than that.
You were saying you have a plethora of degrees. What are all these degrees? You have the...
I might have misled you. I have a plethora of college credits to my name. I went to 4 schools for my undergrad. I was one of those, I want to be an actor, and my folks were like, no, you're going to get a degree.
See, now you're disappointing the woman with like 5 degrees.
I have
She's like, oh, there's somebody like me in the room.
A BA, and then I went back like an idiot, and I got my MBA in marketing a couple years ago. And that was the last thing I did in Jersey. And I went to my last class and got in the car and drove out here. So,
Well, so marketing, that probably worked great for getting the show launched and getting some backing.
I would say, like it or not, there's a lot about my history in corporate America that has led to putting some order to chaos. Mm-hmm. So it does help to have that background, to speak the language of those.
We've actually talked about that on the show a lot too, is that many more filmmakers could use more business experience or somebody on their team who has business experience who can kind of help navigate the waters, because we don't make film in a void, right? And the higher up we go, the more business-like this whole thing becomes. That's right. The more money's involved, the more legalese is involved.
Yeah. So, like he helps with a lot of just getting the IFP a legal company was just like a lot of weird paperwork and stuff that I've never had to deal with. I'm like, what is all this? And he's like, doing all the stuff.
Yeah, Chris puts a lot of orders.
I got a lawyer. I just pay him and he takes care of it.
See? Yeah, we don't have to pay him.
Yeah, right. These are. I was
dance, monkey, dance.
An account manager for a decade, and working with the creatives. It's just like working with these guys. They don't know. They don't want to know anything about the admin side of things. They just want to do the creative stuff. And I try to toe the line, but and that's good. Just put your focus into the creative stuff. It's a pain in the ass, the admin stuff. It's just. It's a necessary evil. So
we just love to argue too with people, and so it's just kind of fun. So then Chris kind of comes in and tries to put order or chaos.
But I think they're trying to say
give him friction all the time, even though we agree with him. But it's just fun,
You just like playing devil's advocate.
Yeah. We're like, well, we'll do
no
this
matter what
instead.
he says, and then we'll go.
And then the next day we'll be like, yeah, Chris was right.
Like, oh, so we did what you said. He's like, what?
Chris, you probably already knew this fact, right?
Yeah, I pretend like I don't. It helps.
Long time ago, we set up a rule in our group that nobody goes to a business meeting alone. And the subtext to that was, David never goes to a business meeting alone. Because either A, he sells all our stuff away for nothing because he's insecure about himself, or B, he walks in and acts like he's an asshole and we don't get anything.
That's our 2 speeds also.
Yeah, it's not about us. Yeah.
There's no middle ground, I don't think.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. We definitely need the 3 of us to kind of even out all of our weird quirks. And one of us will be in a bad mood, or 2 of us will be in a bad mood one day, and then one of us will have to be like the nice guy. It's good, if it's just you, then you kind of have when you're mad, then it's, you're just mad, and you kind of
or deleted everything if it was just me.
Yeah.
Or delete everything, say this is all crap, delete it all. And at least there's at least one of us will be the voice of reason each day. which is nice. We take turns.
So who on your team is the writer?
For this series, Robert actually wrote most
yeah.
of it.
Okay, I wrote all of it.
He wrote all of it.
I was curious because as Chris was talking and based on what you said about the character earlier, it sounds like the character is Chris.
Yep, no, it really isn't based on Chris a lot.
Sure,
yeah. Exactly, yeah. His character's based a lot off of him.
Are there things that you lift like directly from your lives and things that have happened?
There's conversations that we literally...
Yeah, literal conversation. When we're talking, trying to decide stuff, we would argue, and then it was him and I arguing, actually. So, like, we're the brothers in the show, so we're arguing about... I was just writing and had my headphones on or something, listening to music, and then...
I'm talking to him like he's listening to me. He's nodding. He's nodding.
I was just nodding to the music. And then we argued about it, and it was pretty hilarious. And then we kind of put that in the first episode, actually.
Yeah,
a lot verbatim, actually. Yeah, he takes his headphones off, and I said, "Loud enough for you?" He says, "It's not as loud as it sounds." After we were done with that conversation, Markus said, "Write that down," because that was ridiculous. And
yeah. So everyone's inspired off of friends or someone I know, or it's always something that has happened in my life that inspired to help the writing.
Even just particular like experiences and events and stuff, they're all usually a lot of stuff is real. Some people come to us after they've read something, they're like, this seems like really like crazy something, whatever, and we're like, oh no, that literally happened. So like it's not made up. This happened. They're like, no one would do this, right? And I'm like, no, someone did.
Do you sometimes find yourself surprised after watching like the performance and going, oh, that's why I wrote that, that's something I went through, or is it always deliberate? Because like I just wrote a script that we shot recently, and I was sitting on set when he was sitting next to me. I'm watching the performance and listening to the dialogue, and I went, oh shit. I turned and looked at her, and she's just shaking her head at me.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Not maybe for this particular series or these scripts, but there's definitely other scripts that are like a lot of kind of like I guess subliminal things get passed
the
through.
id just finds its way out.
Oh yeah, when we watch
it,
it, there's definitely things that I watch and go,
yeah,
oh, clearly we have some issues to work out that
Yeah.
anyone else will see. We're writing it, we're shooting it, not clear as day, and then you watch it and you're, oh.
Yeah. Or then you're like, oh crap, I hope that person doesn't see this. That I totally just...
I want to make a shirt that says, I don't need therapy, I do film.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
great.
Yeah.
So now you mentioned that for this series you're the writer, which leads me to believe there are other series.
There
are there
are
other projects
things.
you guys are working on?
There's like a million things.
Yeah.
This is the one we've been putting all of our time and effort into actually producing, because we feel like this is something with the gamers. There's a lot of people that play video games. Go figure. So this is the thing that we feel could possibly get a lot of traction at the moment, and then the other things are more personal. This is still personal, obviously. Robert loves video games. I love video games. There's a lot of personal into it, but they're like other things that are a little bit more artsy or whatever.
Have you thought about how you're going to premiere it?
We did. We've gone through a couple different avenues. We actually were going to. It's not happening now. We were going to have a big gaming event that we were going to premiere, and that was actually in like 2 weeks. That was going to happen, but things happened with the edit that we needed to push and not be able to do it, and then it was going to cost us a little bit too much money. So now we're trying to figure out something else. We might just...
Well, if you guys are interested, the COO of GamerCon is a friend of ours, been on the show, and I know they've got events coming up. Like I think in January they've got an event coming up. It might be worth talking to them. Maybe we can partner up with them.
Absolutely.
That would be fantastic, because that's kind of like what we were going to do. We were going to throw our own. But it started to get...
Yeah, let somebody else do that.
Yeah.
You just come in and ride the coattails.
Exactly. That's exactly what we
Business
wanted.
101. Let someone else do the work.
Yeah. I love that.
We have to find a more polite way of asking that, because when we ask that very question, it's... Oh, right.
Yeah. So can you do everything and then I get all the glory?
No? All right. They don't see our
Yeah, they don't-
But
like
if it's about gamers, I mean, that seems like
Yeah.
that's a good fit.
Exactly.
So yeah, we'll hook you guys up. I'll
That'd be
make sure you
great.
guys
That'd
get
be
in
awesome.
contact with them and see if something can come together.
So also, I guess for the premiere, we're about 90% done post-production for the first season, and when we're trying to find a local theater or something like that to rent out and premiere the first 4 episodes, about 40 minutes, just to kind of get the press and anyone else interested. We have to figure out how to get them interested, but we're creating the press kit and starting to send it around and go on awesome podcasts and things like this. So hopefully we can make that happen too and premiere it somewhere in San Diego. created by, shot in, starring everyone, cast and crew, San Diego.
Well, that's an interesting thing. I moderated the Q&A at the Our Barrio premiere earlier in the month, and we were talking with Eric Castellini, who produced Hush with Michael Foster, and they did a really good job getting PR on their film, and they had press releases, they had an electronic press kit, but they sent screener copies to, Beth Ecomondo and folks at the Reader and
Is that old
Union
DVD
Tribune
they
and stuff.
sent or links?
They probably sent links the way things are these days. But they made it available to them before anybody else got to see it. Now, the caveat is if they don't like it, they're allowed to say they don't like it.
Yeah,
But
we don't have to put it in the press kit. Oh.
But it seems that's a step that a lot of people don't do.
It is, yeah, definitely.
But it seems so easy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it seems easy.
We've been trying to build rapport, any kind of a relationship with a lot. I mean, we had a list of, originally it was 30, and now there's a couple dozen more of different blogs or websites and online publications, and even the local newspapers. And something about not having anything to show, as far as you said, send a screener. In advance of that, I read online, hey, try to make nice with these people so that when you do have something, they remember you and things like that. But we haven't gotten.
Have you guys cut a trailer?
We actually released the first episode because of that exact thing, because no one's responding. So now we have the first episode out so people can see it, so they can respond now. So when we have the electronic push kit should be done this week. So then we're going to go out again, release it with the link this time so they can.
And this podcast will be going out next week, so right about the same time you're ready to release that.
Yeah,
so.
perfect.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
See, your timing's all good.
That's right.
See? Yeah.
We planned it.
Right?
It's on the list somewhere.
But yeah, there definitely is something to be said about people with with like web series or just filmmakers not knowing kind of like marketing or trying to like get their they know how to make something, but they don't know how to like get it out there to people.
Well, that gets back to what we were saying. Creatives just
Yeah.
want to create, and then they're like done with it.
Yeah, we're like, all right, I made it. See you later.
And then they want to show it. It's hard to show anybody,
And there is kind of like that whole thing. Like literally every time we show someone what we've done, we're like, I'm gonna leave the room. See you later. Don't look at me.
I used to have that problem.
Yeah. And then once I get like one person that goes, that was awesome, then I go, oh, really? Okay, cool.
We're going to be the next big thing. One person hates it.
Awesome.
Go back to painting houses.
It's weird.
It's back to painting houses.
Well, remember too that there are plenty of successful celebrities who've made a career just out of being hated.
That's true.
Somebody made it to the presidency.
I was going to say
I set that one up for myself.
So proud of yourself.
Yeah.
So you keep saying this season. So is there another season cooking and brewing already?
Yes,
Yep,
there
season
is. We have a
2.
lot of ideas. We haven't written it yet, but there's lots of ideas. We know the general direction. One good thing is that we wrote the pilot episode, the 30-minute, our original plan, and then so everything is now before this, so we kind of know like where it's all leading to in the first place. But what's fun about this too is we get different actors coming in and playing these roles, and they like someone will come in and our original idea for this character was completely different than what their performance was, but their performance was like so funny and amazing that we're like, oh well, I like that direction, so we kind of change it a little bit, and then that character was maybe only in one episode, but now we love them, so now they're in lots of episodes.
Well, that's the magic of working with creatives, right?
Yeah.
It's like every step is a new addition to that process of creation.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So it's fun. So we get we have like 3 or more characters that we love that we want to like, build more of their story.
Yeah, background guy was supposed to just walk by and say one thing, turned into multiple episodes now. So it's pretty cool. We could keep. I like this. It works.
So you guys have been finding your talent locally. What has that experience been like?
Good. Yeah. It's turned out pretty well.
Did you do auditions, open auditions, or?
We do, open auditions, posting on Facebook groups, posting on, what's that website?
Actors Access.
Yeah, Actors Access and Craigslist and such things. And then just reaching out to, some of our other actors that we had early on, and they take acting classes or they're in different groups, so we have them pass along the information too. And it's been good. We've gotten a lot of, really amazing talent out of it.
I think once we got the first couple roles cast, it was easier they had, like you said, their own network of other actors, and I guess a lot of them came from just direct recommendations from the talent that had been working with us already, and it was spot on. They're all great because they're all friends. They all work. They have a chemistry on screen already, so they come into it. And I think everyone, like Dom and Dylan, they're working on a couple things together, right?
Yeah. It seems like everyone knows everyone.
Yeah,
From
it's a very small
someone,
community.
Very small but large. It's interesting.
At the same time.
Well, it's like I know Film Consortium has like a mailing list of like 3,000 people, but I know from being involved for the last couple of years, there's really only like maybe 150 of us that are actively
Yeah,
like doing stuff.
That's what I've noticed too. I've kind of gone to the different groups, and it's kind of all the same people that are in all of them, which is good.
Online,
I mean, it's all the people
promoting, cross promotion, all that. Yeah.
So
I think there's a lot of people in town who are peripherally interested in what we're doing.
Yeah.
But don't they've got all those stupid office jobs and don't know how to get out of them.
Yep.
Just leave, guys. Run.
Yeah, that's right.
Make the jump.
Flee.
Don't make the jump. But
Yeah, not literally, but figuratively. The casting's been good. There was one character that we had a rough time finding someone because it was a pretty tough,
very specific,
very tough role, and there was a couple times where I don't want to say settled as like a mean thing, but it was like we couldn't find what when you cast someone that comes in and they just totally like you're like yes instantly, like that was amazing. We didn't really get that for a while, and so it took us a little while, but we finally found
no first kiss fireworks.
That's right.
Yep.
Yeah.
And as a kind of going back to what we were just talking about, that is a role that was very specific because it was based on someone we knew. And then the gentleman who did come and read and eventually did get the role did something completely different with it.
Yeah, it went a
So
completely
he made it his
different
own
again.
again,
it worked.
Yeah, it was.
It did.
But
And
it
we
was
saw
something that we were
fireworks.
really like, we loved it. So.
Well, I think to your credit, that's a mature thing to do, to recognize somebody's bringing something completely different from what you had envisioned, but that it's good
But it's
and
good.
you want to go with it.
Oh, ego aside, I think it's all whatever's best for the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like it's kind of the scary point too, where you're like, there was actors that were great actors.
Yeah, we want to use it for other
it
stuff.
was like
even, but.
it just wasn't quite clicking for that character, and you get to the point where it's like, all right, well, we need to shoot this scene because we can't just keep waiting and not casting. And I was like, well, this one more day, I'm gonna reach out to one more person, and then that kind of like. So sometimes there is kind of a benefit to like waiting a little bit and like being stubborn, but I don't know, it's a weird balance. Tough line to toe. You have to figure out like, am I just being too stubborn and not figuring it out and sacrificing the show, or is it a good thing? It's weird.
Yeah, it's a tough balance between having a vision and recognizing that your vision maybe can be enhanced by somebody else, And that's why I was saying, like, it's mature of you to be able to recognize somebody else bringing something that you didn't see originally.
And I think also it's important that anyone that we did cast, there's a lot of improv-heavy actors that we've worked with, and it's great. Like most of them, when they're on their elevator ride up to audition, I had some ideas. Is that all right? Are you all right with some improv? And they each brought a lot of themselves.
I said no.
Absolutely not. But yeah,
Well, it's an interesting thing too, because there are some people who are very strict about their scripts. Like it's my word or nothing.
typically they're the Coen brothers over here. It's like that's not how it's written, but.
But it's a comedy series.
That's right, yeah.
There's some specific things. Robert and I kind of like he'll write, and then I'll kind of go over it and add things. And there are some, there's lines that are very specific that we're like, you need to say literally word for word this. And then there's other things that are more open. Or there's some characters where we're like, no, you can't really add them as much. But then there's some people that like, there's such a ball of energy that's waiting to explode. We're like, dude, just do your thing. Go. Here's your blueprint. Just an outline. Let it go.
It works.
So it's very free form what we're doing. It's all over the place, but it's fun.
Now, of course, with any production, but especially with something where there's improv, there's sure to be some really interesting moments that come out of that maybe don't ever get used in the production. Have you guys had a great like outtake moment?
His name is Dylan.
His name is Dylan.
That guy's amazing.
Kowalek.
Yeah.
I don't know how to pronounce his last name.
He's there's a lot of stuff
Dylan
actually that
Kowalczyk,
don't even make it into the final cuts, sadly, because you have to cut it shorter or quicker, and some stuff you really never want to cut. You have to cut, but I can't think of anything too
Kill Your
specific.
Darling.
But with Dylan, with the character Dalton in the show, the actor came in. He had a lot of ideas, and his brain works, very fast, just as quickly as his mouth does. Luckily, so we went, instead of doing over the shoulder shots between Robert here as Sean and the other character Dalton, we just went wide and we just said, "We're rolling. You do your thing," and we just got it all because he was in a million different directions.
Just making stuff
We just wanted to
up.
make sure we got it all.
Yeah.
I forget who it was. Was it Mel Brooks? Somebody said drama's done in the close-up and comedy's done in the wide.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I think you need that breathing room for comedy.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yeah.
if you're in too tight,
Yeah,
you got to see the theatrics of the body and
That's right.
definitely. Yeah,
how
comedy's
everything
definitely
affects somebody.
That's been something. The first episode that we released, that's something we found is when we read it, it seemed funny to us, and then when we filmed it and edited it, we watched it and we're like, well,
We shot the first episode 4 times. It was rewritten 3.
Yeah, we shot it 4 times and we literally wrote it, cut it, like deleted it, and rewrote it and shot it again as a completely different episode.
Struggled. Yeah.
It was
For some reason, it just wasn't.
which was
working.
it was hard, but we did it, and then
Do you think that's because you were too close to the material to start with? Maybe took
well,
time
we
to-
got
I
other
didn't realize. Yeah. I don't know what it was.
It was a funny thing. It was a great idea, and we were laughing our asses off when we were talking about it and reading the script. And then, even when we were shooting it, it didn't feel like it felt when we watched it.
Yeah.
But interestingly, we shot the first episode that we shot was the 4th episode of the series of the first season, and it was because Comic-Con was here in San Diego.
Mhm.
So timing was right, and Robert wrote an episode specifically around his character trying to get into Comic-Con. And so we only had that weekend to shoot it, And so we hired a few 100,000 extras to come downtown to the Convention Center.
expensive.
A lot of tchotchkes. I mean, we spent how much?
It was nice of you to block all that traffic. All
Yeah, we
weekend
did
for us.
block.
Welcome. I mean, we had a good time.
Put our all the budget in that
We
one
sh-
episode.
Yeah, we shot that without a budget, just like the rest of the show.
No
Zero
rehearsals
budget.
either because we didn't have any time, so we had to just show up, shoot it. We shot on 2 cameras,
Oh yeah.
and actually half our footage when the cameras didn't work for some reason.
No. It was at 120 frames a second, so it looked like
Oh, right.
a war movie. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
half our footage was
It was
not
like
usable.
staccato. I don't know. I think the
Saving Private Ryan, basically.
the shutter speed was off or something on his.
I think it was
I don't know.
720p too. For some
It was
reason.
a shit.
Yeah, but
It was-
if you have the right setup at Comic-Con, that could be a very interesting film.
Yeah.
Comic-Con is like war.
So literally, we shot the entire thing on Chris's A7S, and that was the one that was messed up. And then literally just on we were there, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna shoot it on my camera too because we have it here. I brought it. Why not? It'll be a different look, different
I'm like,
lenses.
sure, why
and
not?
so we're like, whatever, we'll do it. And luckily, we shot 2 takes with mine of each scene, and then when we went to watch it, we're like. I
Oh,
put his
thank
camera in
God.
first, and I was like, "Oh my God,
Scared.
did we not get anything?" And I was like, "Did I film everything on my camera?" And we put it in, and luckily, we filmed everything on my camera also.
Yeah.
That was just luck.
And everything worked. It's funny.
We were warmed up. We had done the whole thing all day, I guess.
Yeah.
So by the time we did it just with your camera, it was...
But it's so weird that episode we had no prep. In the first episode, we rehearsed it a bunch. We had everything blocked. It was all ready to go. For some reason, when you got in the post, it wasn't working. And then Comic-Con just showed up and kind of went for it, and it worked really well. So I think that's why we kind of started adding the ad-libbing, because it kind of helps with the whole comedy of the show.
Yeah, I mean, comedy, spontaneity, there's a lot to it.
Mm-hmm.
And it takes a really seasoned actor to be overly rehearsed on comedy and still be funny.
Yeah.
I think you can rehearse out the comedy.
That's true.
Yeah, exactly. I think definitely that is a fact. The more you do it, it feels like it's like a joke you've heard a million times. By the time you're shooting it, we're like, I know what's happening.
Yeah, that's another thing weird with comedy, because it's funny when you first wrote it, but then after editing it, you've heard it so many times. The joke's like, I don't even know if it's a joke anymore. Is this funny? But then other people watch it and they laugh. You're, okay, we're all right.
What I love is when people laugh at parts that you didn't think were funny.
Yeah, that's true.
And then you're left wondering, why was that funny?
Yeah.
And what's wrong with me that I didn't see that as funny the 400 times I was watching it in the edit room?
Yeah, exactly. Oh, I didn't think it was
do
funny
that.
because his hand was in the wrong spot.
And now there's that unique thing where we've been working for months now with a lot of these actors, and they're coming out with that method approach. I think that my character would basically do this. We just shot a commercial this weekend, a mock commercial for the show, and the guy that Evan Lucas is playing, our uncle Ryan, and he had some ideas, very just based on he's been living this character now for 4 or 5 months, and so the writing process, is getting a little easier. That we're getting a lot of input from people too, so it's not just our idea of things, like we said, that they come in with their own ideas and they improv everything. So it's like its own. It's a beast now. It's a machine. It's a machine. It just keeps going.
Takes on a life of its own.
Yeah.
What are some of your influences, comedy wise? Like, who did you grow up with and look up to? Because like I just got to watch John Cleese and Eric Idle at the Balboa Theater Thursday night. It was amazing. Yeah. It was like a childhood dream come true to get to watch those guys in person. Like, who were your influences?
I saw Kids in the Hall. We went last year. Brought them.
Squishing a head.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, I could go through a million of them. But yeah, I grew up watching Saturday Night Live. Staying up late and watching those, the Mike Myers, David Spade, Chris Farley, Adam Sandler years. The best. And Kids in the Hall. A lot of sketch comedy. I love Steve Martin, and Bill Murray. Those kind of deadpan, kind of intelligent but funny guys.
Mm-hmm. A lot of SCTV in that.
Totally, yeah. Eugene Levy. That's me. A lot of sketch and stand-ups. I love comedians. I know these guys are more art house snobs, but I like to laugh. That's me. I like to get away from my shitty life.
All right, snobs, your turn.
It's that film you never heard of by that director.
Yeah, I'm really bad with names. First of all, like this is the biggest problem with these kind of things. Is
it's like that guy that was in that movie that had the thing that landed in the...
Exactly. Well, I watched... I don't know.
I don't think he can do it.
I can tell you the show, the comedy series that we really liked was Silicon Valley, and we really wanted to capture that similar kind of comedy style. So we watched that. We've probably seen that 4 or 5 times.
That's an HBO show, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I'd watch that a lot and try to capture that similar style comedy, because it was just different than other kind of comedy. It wasn't like super over the top goofy at times, and it still had a storyline. So I kind of like that kind of storyline, but still comedy. I like that kind of stuff instead of just random episodes with funny things that don't tell any real story. I don't really like
so Seinfeld wasn't.
I would say Alec Berg writes for Silicon Valley, and he was the head writer for Seinfeld. And
yeah, I didn't really watch that.
Oh,
Robert's younger than
Robert. Yeah, I got 15 years on Robert, and the amount of things that he says he's never heard of, where I'm like, oh my god, they're gonna.
Yeah.
I had to explain Back to the Future to him yesterday.
No, I know it.
Holy
no,
God.
You didn't. Okay,
hold on.
Wait a second. Let's clear.
No, you had to explain. You were talking specifically about the boards.
What
we got a comic book.
What are your ages? I have to know now.
I'm 103. Well, next week I'll be 103.
That's accurate.
No, I'm 36. Chris, 36.
Robert's 22.
Markus is 26.
Ouch.
So, Robert has... Okay, I'm Robert's brother. I'm older than him. And
I got 19 years on him.
Yeah. And he's seen a lot of these movies, but he just doesn't know their names.
I know Back to the Future. That was... We were at a comic book shop filming a commercial thing.
I'm from Jersey. I'm busting balls.
And then there was these hoverboards on the wall from Back to the Future, and he was telling
the Mattel ones?
Everything about it. Like,
no, it was someone created it. They made them specifically for the shop.
So I didn't know.
Yeah, but was it the pink Mattel?
They had the pink Mattel version, and they had the Pitbull.
They had the Pitbull.
They sure did. And so I was just giving him some, context. I was reciting the movie line for line because I thought he wanted.
How accurate was the Pitbull? Did it have the leashes and everything too? Oh man!
Oh yeah,
pretty cool.
Hook on.
This is that Villainous Lair.
Yeah, I've done it.
Villainous Lair. That's right.
If you want a hoverboard,
shout out for them.
They have a TARDIS too. They have a TARDIS in the corner.
They do have a TARDIS.
Yeah, I've got my TARDIS like sitting right there. It's where we keep our keys.
There it is.
That's right.
There it is.
And we're planning on building one in the backyard up on the hill, so that as you're driving by, you'll catch glimpses of it between the house.
Is that
just because?
No.
Just because.
We want to make make it as a clubhouse
the property
for the
value,
kids.
I think. It's bigger on the inside, so square footage wise, you could probably
a lot more square footage,
multi-millions. Yeah.
Any error?
The world's largest outhouse.
There you go.
Back to the question, I guess.
Oh yeah,
I didn't get to talk, guys.
It's just because you've been monopolizing the whole conversation so far.
It's true.
The director.
A lot of the similar influences of Chris, SNL, and then some other people you didn't mention, but like Simon Pegg and Nick Frost, or the
Cornetto trilogy.
Yeah. Love that massively. I love their movies. And yeah,
Well,
Silicon
and
Valley.
their stuff's fun because it's really smart
It's
as well as being very goofy.
Yeah, I love the jokes that play out throughout an entire movie where they just keep calling back to it, or like you've got red on you. And, I love that. Or like the joke that even plays out throughout all three of them with the guy, jumping over the fences, or you've never taken a shortcut before, and then they trip through the fence or something.
Still, one of my favorite cinematic experiences is Shaun of the Dead, when Simon Pegg leaves the flat to go to the store and then walks back home, and the whole way doesn't notice any zombies.
Yeah,
because he's completely oblivious and lost in his own world.
He like trips on someone. Yeah, he like. In the
It's
fridge,
such a
with the blood all
wonderful
over
piece
it,
of writing.
Yeah, it's
and
great.
and that was before everybody got stuck with their faces in their phones constantly.
Yeah, it was.
yeah.
I went and watched that recently. I was like, oh, that'd be. Well, you'd put a phone in his hand these days.
Yeah, you would. He would just be in there. Bloop, bloop, bloop. What else? A lot of YouTube, or not even a lot, but there's some YouTubers that I enjoy.
Who are some of your YouTubers that you
There's
like?
one. They're not very big, but they're called FND, like the letters FND, and they do kind of like sketches that I find really funny. It's kind of similar, like intelligent comedy instead of just the usual dick and fart jokes. But
Not that there's anything wrong.
not that
with
there's
Dick
anything
and
wrong
Fart
with it.
jokes.
We have
Kevin Smith made a
plenty
whole
of
career
those.
on Dick and Fart jokes.
But
Jersey. Let's talk about
Red Bank, beautiful town.
That's where I went to school. Right, high
You went to school in Red,
I
in
went
Red
to.
Bank?
I was born in Red Bank. I was raised in Red Bank. And I went to St. James School and Red Bank Catholic High School. So yes.
Didn't
Yeah,
you even
I-
steal a Red Bank sign? That's
I
hanging?
visited.
Yeah, it's hanging in
I
my
visited a
apartment.
few years
Oops.
ago. Took photos at the Quick Stop and
Oh yeah.
went to Jalen Silent Bob's Secret Stash.
I worked in my cousin's own a mini golf course that's right across the street from the Quick Stop. So that's used to hang out there all the time and just point at it and go, they filmed a movie here. And the guy making $5 an hour was like, yeah, we don't get that ever. That's fantastic.
Well, and it really is just a real piece of shit little
Oh,
building.
what a
too.
dump. Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, they didn't have to undress it up.
There's
for
no
the
set
movie.
dressing there. Just
Negative.
point a camera and shoot.
Oh, Middletown, New Jersey.
I just imagine Jersey is like so tiny.
It's like a strip mall
How can there
with
be different
residential
cities?
areas.
All just packed in.
That is interesting because you're Idaho, California, West Coast,
Large.
giant, enormous states.
Yeah.
I cannot wait to get them.
And then I
into
look on a
Manhattan.
map and I see Jersey. I'm like, how do you split this
You
up
can
into
walk
that many
across that
cities?
state in a day.
Well, wait a second.
That's
My
not a
farm was
state.
bigger than your whole state.
So have you guys ever had the opportunity to visit Jersey?
No, I
I
haven't
haven't been over there.
Been over there. I've been as far as Florida. I think. Yeah, that's it.
Florida's a pretty big state.
Yeah, and Florida's big too.
No small
yeah,
states.
so.
Mm.
It's
Haven't
all,
been to New York.
all the
haven't
small
been to
ones are
yeah.
up there in the upper
All of
right.
Yeah, back when they first started this country, and they're like, I'm far enough.
It makes
Here's
sense because
New
they
York,
didn't
here's
have
New York.
cars, so it's like this is a long ways. And then
They got over here
Well,
and
they
they're
didn't
like,
have cars either. I
just
think
all
this
of
guy
that
lives
over there is one thing. This is something else. Whatever.
that's pretty much how. That's what I imagine.
That's the modernized
That's
history.
beautifully put.
It's some history lesson for you guys.
That's right.
Feels like drunk history, but no one's
Yeah.
been drinking.
Yeah.
As
that's
far as you know,
Well, yeah,
it's midday. They had all morning before they were
that's
here.
true. Yeah. We're like our brains operate at that level normally, so
We're not well, is what he's saying.
just
And none of us are
adding
well.
liquor
That's
to
why we're
any
going
of
to
this
film.
is
No
just
modern,
not good.
no modern medicine for us.
That's right.
We're Jehovah's Witness. Remember, we don't partake.
I'm
So-
just learning that they don't celebrate holidays, and I think that's amazing because, I mean, I hate Christmas. I'm not a fan of my birthday. Not getting gifts and
Your own
cards
birthday.
sounds amazing. Yeah.
I had no idea that anybody would ever convert to being a Jehovah's Witness in my living room, but
Oh, you heard it here first.
There it
Yes. I'm here to proselytize. Come on, guys. Join in.
Witness.
Perfect.
Can I get an amen?
so where
It's not. Jeez. Jesus.
I don't know if you can request an amen followed by saying Jesus.
Well,
That's true. What?
yes. I mean, I didn't think anybody minded. Nobody seemed to be getting any skin.
that's the
in
biggest response out of Whitney I've seen in any show so far with her. So where can your web series be found, and where can people go to get more information on you guys, because stalkers exist on the internet.
Yes.
forthewinseries.com will redirect you to our YouTube channel, also called For the Win Series. We're at For the Win Series on Instagram and Twitter.
Everything
For the Win Series on Facebook.
Cool.
Pretty easy.
Pretty much, we got lucky and we were able to keep the same thing across all platforms.
That's right. Branding.
Yeah. And then we also have indiefilmproject.com.
INDI, because INDIE, the guy sitting on that URL wanted 36 grand, shove it up your ass. So we're INDI, Indie Film Project.
Well, it's more rebellious to drop the E.
It's so
It
indie,
is.
isn't
It's
it?
just like us with the X,
Yeah,
Just
exactly.
like,
Who needs it?
It's even more
smart, but
indie.
not that
Guessing,
smart.
right? What is this thing?
It's not that smart.
Yeah.
I like that.
We're less threatening that way.
Oh, I feel a lot more comfortable now here. I was like,
Oh, intellectual, but they can't spell it right.
that's
I feel like I'm at
He can
home.
spell.
my Idaho.
I can't.
You know who loved that the most was Hal Sparks. We met Hal Sparks on a red carpet, and he's like, "Ooh, intellectual with an X, like sexual."
That's kind of what I thought the first
He
time I
just
saw it.
wouldn't
I was
stop
like,
like the whole interview. He just kept doing doing X's at the camera.
That's great.
Hey, no such thing as bad press. That's good.
No, it's fantastic.
That's awesome.
I need to dig back through the archives and pull that up.
yeah, that should go before everything,
Everything.
every interview.
Well, I've also got Jenna Jameson saying that you're listening to something very intellectual.
There we go.
That's quite.
Do you know who that is, Robert?
No.
God damn it!
I mean,
Robert
probably.
he laughs. Ha ha ha.
joke.
Don't ask me who that is. Don't
She's
ask me.
like, she was a big adult film star.
Oh.
And as of late, I think she's
Adult
producing her
film
own things.
Yeah, she kind of
Adds to the joke.
broke big about the time you were born. So
I don't dig back that far, I don't think. I mean,
Well, the
but
internet
it was a
being what
good
it
time
is.
for me. Hi, Whitney.
Hi.
Yeah, I know. I was like,
Hi.
Hi.
I'm just. Hi.
hello.
Hello.
But no, thank you guys for sitting down and talking to us a little bit about your show. I'm looking forward to watching it and seeing where it goes.
Thank you
And-
for letting us crash your party. Thank you very much.
Yeah, absolutely. We're all one big happy community, right?
Yeah,
That's right.
We are.
That's right.
We finally come out of our shell.
Yeah.
This is our first.
Welcome.
We're debutantes right now. We're announcing our intentions to the world. We've been, like I said, working together. Now, you're our first podcast. You're
Well, we'll be
So
gentle.
this is like your cotillion?
It is exactly right. I got a nice big bow, and this person's been courting me for some time. I think I might dance tonight. I'm going to dance.
That's why you selected those socks.
It is.
Oh yeah.
They're your cotillion
Well, in corporate
socks.
America, you can't show any kind of style or anything. You have to use your socks or your tie. So I guess I have an
That's why
abundance of
those-
crazy.
That's why he always buys pants that are too short. Also, so.
There's
It's
some-
radio, so
thrift
you
shops
can't
for
see
you.
these very exuberant, colorful socks.
Sure are.
high waters.
What are your socks? Oh, white. Cool.
Yeah, I'm real.
Oh, and yours are
Nerd
gray.
on it.
Expressive.
Mine say nerd on it.
See, but your pants aren't short enough for me to read nerd.
No. 'cause I have
See, but
pants that fit.
my short pants say nerd
kinda like
without
Superman.
saying it on my
Keeps it on.
socks.
I
So,
think that's enough socks. Sock talks.
probably. This feels like episode 1. That's hilarious, right? Let's film it.
All over again.
Sock talks.
Delete it all. Delete it all.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Thanks so much.
No,
right.
thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, did you know that we also make movies here at Intellectual Entertainment? That's right. And most recently, we participated in the 4 Points Film Project. And I'm proud to say that our film In Situ has been selected for audience choice voting in the 2016 4 Points Film Project. So do us a favor and go to vimeo.com/channels/4PFP2016 and watch In Situ and all the rest of the amazing films that were created in just a 3-day weekend for the 4 Points Film Project. And make sure you vote for In Situ and 2 other films and help us get that audience choice win. It's much appreciated for your patronage of the Intellectual Podcast and for watching all of our films here at Intellectual Entertainment.
Hello there, citizens. I am the terror that flaps in the night. I am the floaty that will not flush no matter how many times you try in the toilet bowl of crime. I am Darkwing Duck, telling you please, talk hard and enjoy the mindgasm. Whatever the heck that means. After all, you are watching Intellectual Podcast with your ears.